That was it for my week. No, okay. I played RE9. RE9 came out. I have since beaten RE9 2.5 times.
You've done it twice.
2.5.
Okay.
2 of those have been on stream.
Okay.
The first was by the way, to people saying no spoilers, don't worry about it. Like, genuinely, don't worry about it.
Not a spoiler cast.
I have my thoughts all good up into my brain. So I beat it on classic, which is the hardest difficulty you can pick from the beginning. And classic is basically it's a little tougher. Like, enemies are a little more resilient, ammo's a little more scarce. But the main thing is that you have to use ink ribbons to save. You don't get a real autosave for most sections, and you have to use a consumable item to save.
Back to that.
The first time through, the game took me 21 hours to stream, but the in-game clock said 11, which is fun.
Cutscenes don't count.
Cutscenes don't count. Restarts don't count. Loads don't count.
Okay.
Right. That kind of thing. So if you have been living under a rock, Resident Evil 9 takes place in 2020. I think it's 2026. Maybe it's 2027, but it's modern day. And you are playing, you are ping-ponging between one Grace Ashford, Ashcroft. Grace Ashcroft, and one Leon Kennedy. Grace is the daughter of Alyssa Ashcroft, the reporter from Resident Evil Outbreak. And Leon, I don't need to fucking tell anybody listening to this fucking podcast who the fuck Leon Kennedy is. And you are basically ping-ponging between very, very, very classic limited inventory, survival horror, limited ammunition, limited inventory, limited health, going all over an environment, solving puzzles that are obtuse as shit and have the dumbest architecture known to man. And then Leon fucking walks in and goes, "Who wants to play a fucking action game?"
Yeah. All the memes, etc. She's running from the monster. The monster's running from Leon.
Yeah, 100%. Mm-hmm. So the game has a really interesting structure in that regards. And that is the game is like very lopsided in who you actually control. I don't mean you play as Leon more. I'm just saying like you flip back and forth like 4 or 5 times, but you definitely get a lot more classic survival horror in the first half.
Did you play
a lot more?
Did you play her sections in first person?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
I played her sections in first person and on my first playthrough, and Leon's in third person on my first playthrough, and then I switched to her on third person on the second playthrough. Okay. I would say it's actually fairly important to play your first run through in first person. Grace's sections are clearly designed for you to be peeking around corners and have certain sight lines and certain really, really, really up close personal moments. And it also helps really, really strongly separate how the sections feel when, oh, it's all claustrophobic and I'm really in here. And then you switch to Leon and you can fucking see Leon, and Leon's like, I'm going to shoot these fuckers and do roundhouse kicks and all sorts of crazy nonsense. Mm-hmm. What's weird is that I switched to third person on the second playthrough, and Grace gets a lighter for her light source in the beginning. And the visual effect of the light from the lighter going through her hair is like the best looking hair I have ever seen in a game. And it's only if you change the fucking camera off the default.
Interesting.
And it's like, wow, you guys you tried really hard to make this part that's optional look really, 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 really good. It's very, very silly. Grace's sections are fucking great. Grace's sections are like pitch perfect. It's not the mansion and it's not the RPD. It's the care center. It looks suspiciously like the Resident Evil 1 mansion. It has a similar baffling nonsense layout with too many rooms and too many hallways and stupid places and not enough bathrooms. You are going around and doing just nonsense puzzles, fucking stupid nonsense. Hey man, you need the octagonal red gem to get into the parlor. Of course you fucking do.
Jamming shit into shit.
you need to figure out the sun and moon puzzle. What's the combination to the sun and moon statue so I can get the quartz to open up this fancy?
Is there always a sun and moon statue, or am I just thinking of like other games? I feel like that's a common. That's a common thing.
It's not every single time, but it's pretty common. The story takes place in current year and deals with the fallout from Raccoon City again, because Raccoon City being annihilated by not a nuclear attack. A lot of people forget that it was retconned about 10 years ago into a thermobaric attack.
There's a crater,
aka a firebomb.
Oh, okay, all right.
So gotcha. It's not like radiated.
Well, Moab.
It's
yeah,
something like that.
All right,
a retcon bomb. Yeah. So somebody says in RE3 Nemesis, no, in RE3 remake. That's different.
So no Fallout.
No Fallout.
Yeah.
So it takes place in two main sections, both of which were shown in the trailer. One is the care center, which is your mansion equivalent, and the other is a return to Raccoon City, which looks like shit. It's fucked up over there. Grace has a really interesting gimmick to her gameplay in which she starts with a pistol and a magnum. Like, she starts off with a dinky ass little pea shooter,
and the strongest
that is really only good for stunning a zombie and then pushing them over, and the biggest fucking magnum ever called the Requiem.
And when are you going to use that?
Yes, because the ammo for the Requiem is extraordinarily scarce. And is hidden behind a bunch of, did you find a locked drawer? Oh, guess what? That was the materials you could use to make one magnum bullet.
Right.
And the reason why this matters is because if Grace or Leon kills a regular zombie and leaves them alone for a really, really long time, there is a fairly significant chance that when you pass them by, they will turn into a much uglier, much stronger, much faster zombie, like Crimson Heads from Resident Evil Remake. So putting enemies down becomes a factor of, it's not just, hey, I'm going to be using this hallway all the time, I need to clear it. It's like, well, if I clear it in a certain way, then am I going to have a bigger problem later? As such, Grace gets a fairly complicated crafting system. She's picking up scrap, she's sucking up blood off the ground, and she's making things like Molotov cocktails. She's making something called a hemolytic agent, which is basically a free stealth kill. Okay. Like, if you spend the resources to make a little purple vial and sneak up on a zombie and jam it into them, they won't just die, they'll literally burst. Okay. Like 100% vaporize burst. And it's like, you will not have to worry about that fucking guy ever again. They will not get back up. They are goo.
I don't know how much overlap in sections there are with the characters where like you're creating a problem for one or the other, but I'm assuming Leon is not strapped for ammo at any point.
So Grace has to deal with ammo like an old Resident Evil game. Ammo exists in places, and that's where it lives. You can also craft some ammo, but blood and scrap, the two materials that you use to make almost everything, are used to make bullets, magnum bullets, hemolytic injectors, which is the instant kills, as well as like health upgrades and aim upgrades. So and then if you're playing on classic, you also use them to make ink ribbons to save the game. So that's how she gets her ammo. She finds it or she has to make it. Enemies literally drop fucking ammo when Leon shoots them.
Okay.
Like Leon sections have the adaptive ammo system of Resident Evil 4 and Resident Evil 4 Remake and RE5. Or it's like, you running low on handgun ammo, blow this dude's head off. Hey, guess what? He dropped 20 bullets. Crazy.
Is it representative of the fact that he's such a survivor that he's just automatically turning it into it in the process of taking someone out right away?
Kind of. Like, you can walk up to some of Grace's like puzzle items and he goes, I don't need to do this. And like instead of dealing with like locked doors, he just pulls out his hatchet and just busts it and just walks in.
Nice.
Like Leon's a freak.
Nice.
It definitely feels like playing like I'm a scared little baby versus I'm Jason Voorhees out to kill all these motherfuckers. And I think it ping pongs fairly well. Grace's sections are more in the first half and Leon's sections are more in the back half. And the reason for that is because it's easier to have a big fucking cool bombastic boss fight with Leon Kennedy doing action game shit than it is like slow limited weapon, like limited health Grace. That being said, the pathing in her sections is really excellent. The item placement in her sections is really excellent. I did a speed run on the easier difficulty. That was my second run on camera, and discovered, wow, you can just fucking skip like 99% of this fucking game. Like the only thing you need is this item, and this item.
You know where to go.
And just you don't even need fucking ammo because all you need to do is shoot a zombie in the face and push them over and run past them.
Okay.
The zombie, your primary antagonist in this is your standard zombie, but they're T-virus mutation zombies, so they're better than your average zombie. They retain some element of humanity, which means there's a lot of zombies that have fancy gimmicks. There's zombies that are obsessed with keeping the lights off. So if you go into a room and turn a light switch on, they'll go, oh, the lights, and wander out of where they're placed to turn the lights off.
Interesting. Okay.
There's zombies that hate noise. There's zombies that hate mess, which is one of the more interesting ones. That will, if there's blood somewhere, they'll freak out and clean it, and they'll move around.
That's cool because some of my favorite zombies are the ones from I Am a Hero. It's the manga where the virus in that setting makes people do the thing as a zombie that they were obsessed with in life.
Yeah,
you know?
That's kind of what's going on.
Yeah, so like one of the biggest threats, one of the bosses of that is there's an athlete that became a zombie and he was a high jumper. So he eventually becomes obsessed with just the zombies running around and high jumps up onto a roof where people are surviving, you know? I like that idea of like the obsession.
That Grace's sections are uniformly excellent. Leon's section has one part that drags pretty long. It's like by far the longest part of the whole game. It's like it's one level that's like 2 hours.
Okay.
And it is like exploring a huge wide open area. Like by far the largest wide open area that's ever been in a Resident Evil game for like a bunch of key items and just having a bunch of encounters along the way. And then you have a series of fucking crazy boss fights. Probably the most interesting thing about it is that I've seen some folks call it like, I saw somebody describe it as fan service slop. Which is a really fucking weird way to describe a game that put things into the game because people would like them.
So
it's actually a fucking strange complaint.
So my impression from the outside, looking at the trailer and everything, was that this is your Metal Gear Solid 4 of RE, or your DMC5, or your, you know, it is your big all together now, like send up, right?
It is. That is exactly. MGS4 is by far the most adequate appraisal. So one of the things that they showed off in one of the trailers was that some of the survivors of Raccoon City have developed something called Raccoon City syndrome, which is basically very, very, very long-term latent exposure to the T-virus. Means that Leon is sick. Leon is extremely sick. He is quite ill during the events of this game. And who knows what's going to happen? Someone in the chat says he has geostigma. Honestly, might as well. Yeah. Honestly, man. Honestly,
Cloud
as well. Might as well.
Is the titular Requiem truly the gun?
It is the gun.
Okay. Is there a 9 in the spelling on it?
Yeah.
Nice.
So that complaint feels very strange to me. So first of all, it's the 30th anniversary game. This is now 30 years of Resident Evil from 96 to 2006. And the story, which I will go into very little, definitely has, hey, we've been doing this for a long time vibes. There's definitely a lot of Leon is very tired, very old going on. Sorry, I meant 2026, not 2006. There is a very concerted effort to take a, I would say, shockingly far range of stupid Resident Evil details into account and try and bring them all up under one umbrella. But basically just encapsulate just a wide variety of the stupidest details of the franchise's history and try and tie most of them up into a neat little package and then leave one loose thread for the future.
So franchises don't end. However,
no,
there are ending games, right? RE6 with everyone being in it felt like, I'm assuming, an ending game because you put everyone in it. No?
Didn't feel like that at all. Nope, not even a little.
The fact that they put everyone in it
absolutely
didn't
not.
make it feel
like
that
the
way?
fucking continuing adventures of the Resident Evil gang.
I would have assumed that it was like, we're making the one with everybody and that'll feel like some sort of big finale.
No, not even close. Not even a little bit.
Wow, strange. Okay.
Yeah, no, you're fucking right. That was weird.
Because usually if you grab everybody, that would be the move. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, in this case, does this feel...
This one feels like that.
Okay. This feels like unending, even though we know there is no ending. Yeah.
If you wanted to be... if you wanted to be like an asshole and you were writing like One Piece or some shit, you could say Resident Evil 9 is the end of the 30-year Umbrella arc. And you're like, that is an insane idea that like decades of this has been arc one of, right?
A cinematic universe. It's a cinematic universe.
It's season one.
Yes. Avengers changed everything, man.
And so the second half of the game gets... So, I mean, you're going back to, like, they showed off in the trailers. You're going back to the Raccoon City. You're going back to the RPD. They fucking milk that shit for every drop they can. There is a very, very definitive feel of you are like, first of all, there's a rotating cast of, hey, I know in some of the remakes or some of the recent games, you haven't seen this one for a while or this one for a while. You know what we're going to do? We're going to give you all of the ones that you've been missing for a while and a couple of ones from shit side games that you never thought would show up in the main game ever, and ends up being like one of the best moments of that whole thing. There's one particular boss fight in the last chapter of the game that you know what? Hold on.
I'm assuming that like a lot of going through the police department is playing with your memory and then using that against you.
Yes, a fair amount.
Yeah.
There's a puzzle regarding that fucking creepy photo of Rebecca that Wesker keeps in his fucking desk.
Right.
You know, just stuff like that. They go like super nuts on the fan service in the RPD section, which is appropriate.
Correct.
To the point where you like it goes so deep that you find out that the RPD in 1998 preferred playing Street Fighter on the Saturn.
Wow. Okay. As a franchise, does it feel weird though that like the big celebration sort of send off is about the breakout famous sequel and not the mansion that started it all?
So this is a really good point, and it goes further into like my talking about like the fan service aspect, because the second half gets pretty strong on it, right? And it gets mainly Resident Evil 2, Resident Evil 3, fan servicey. And I feel like an asshole, and I also feel like a freak, because one of the things that I noticed playing through the game is that this is like actually like Final Fantasy IX levels of fan service throughout like every single section of the entire game. So it's something that people who aren't complete psycho freaks would not pick up on, because they don't remember every single fucking room in Resident Evil. But for example, the very first level of the game, a hotel, where you're investigating something about Alyssa Ashcroft. The reason why you're investigating a hotel is because in the pre-release screenshots for Resident Evil Outbreak, Alyssa Ashcroft was closely associated with the hotel because her red jacket looked good on the red background of the fire in the hotel room in Outbreak. So the hotel is Alyssa's level.
We're on this level of detail, I see. Okay.
Right.
Okay. We are
there is the same fuck ass first to second floor staircase rotating hallway that has a cubby hole in it that every single fucking building in Resident Evil has. There is a long hallway fairly early in the game with like a drape blowing that is the same layout and furniture placement of the RE1 dog hallway to make you worried that dogs are going to jump through the fucking window. There are RE4 sequences directly transplanted, even though it doesn't make any fucking sense. There are like this room and that room and this puzzle and this puzzle's the architecture or the sound effect or the scenario. Like there's like a, you know what you would call like a pass-through area that only exists for drama, where like the characters literally just run through a series of corridors.
Liminal corner, yeah.
There's a section about middle of the game where me and like 10 guys in the chat were like, this is literally a room from Resident Evil Revelations 2. To those of you who aren't aware, it's an underground like sewer section with like a staircase where you run up and go left, and it's like a sewer. Looks identical to a specific room from one game from like 10 years ago. So like it is an obsessive, beloved love letter to every possible minor detail.
From multiple games.
Sequences from bad games.
Right.
There's a boss fight that's a redo of an RE6 boss fight in a chapel.
Okay.
It's the same fucking fight, but it's better now.
Okay.
Because they're like, no, we're going to do it again. There's enemies that were god awful in RE5 that reappear, and they're all right now. They're like, they redesigned the way that they work. Right.
So it doesn't feel like the police station is getting too lifted away from things because everything is getting its flowers.
Yeah, no. So, and the main thing is that the flowers in the RPD are like a full bouquet just jammed in your fucking face.
Yeah.
To the point where characters are even remarking about how they remember the way that things used to be, like out loud.
Okay.
But the whole game cohesively is like little bits and pieces and ideas and themes and background details, and like this detail from one of the Outbreak epilogues made it in, and then here's a photo on the wall of the special forces enacting the quarantine outside Raccoon City that was referenced in fucking Orc, and it's an anniversary game. It is a celebration game.
Yes, absolutely.
And it's great.
Yeah, I love those. I really like even the stupidity of like talking about MGS4 after the fact. I talk about JoJo, about any like the big celebration parts are so enjoyable in many cases when they do it well. So that's very cool. The level you're describing of like fucking granularity as well. I'm like, I am not a Resident Evil fan, so I don't think anyone thinks I am or would expect me to call myself that, or I don't keep up or play the games. I am, however, an enjoyer of your explanations of Resident Evil. I think I think I'm an enjoyer of it in the way that we discuss Kojima shit, where that is where I'm at on this franchise. Is what you're describing sounds ridiculous and amazing.
There are multiple parts of this game's story that read like hack shit. You know what I mean? Like, you're like, what the fuck? Who the fuck is this? This is nonsense. But if you know enough, you actually discover that it's even hacker shit than you thought it was. Like, there's a good element of who the fuck is this guy? That's stupid. And then underneath is, I know who that guy is. That's really fucking stupid.
Okay.
And there's at least 2 of those story elements where you're like, what the fuck? This is bullshit. You're like, no, this is bullshit. You don't understand. This is fucking dumb.
I caught a clip of a cameo of a character running by the background.
Yeah, that's not even given any like unreality at all.
Is there? And
that's just there.
And that's Canon's playthrough story
with the sound effects and everything.
Right? There's no moment to stop and explain.
Absolutely not.
Okay. Yeah. Right.
That shit's just real.
Don't worry about it. Keep moving.
Yeah. No. Like. It's there's also a completely genuinely new enemy type in this game that I never would have thought I would ever see in a Resident Evil game. That was so good, I restarted the encounter like 10 times because I wanted to do it again.
Nice. Oh wow. Okay.
A genuinely brand new type of enemy.
Everything else is remixes and or familiar approach.
I mean, there's a lot of fucking monsters you could put in this game, right? You got old monsters, you got some new guys, you got some new bosses, you got some old bosses, you know?
RE9 is a good game.
RE9 is an excellent game. It also runs really well. It has a great set of bonuses, and it has a fucked up difficulty for freaks once you've beaten the game. So I beat the game on classic, and you unlock like the bonus shop, right? The bonus shop, sorry, where you can be like, get more costumes or get bonus weapons like a submachine gun, stuff like that, right? That you unlock with achievement points, right? And then one of those is infinite ammo. And you're like, that'd be pretty fucking good. And one of that is like infinite hatchet durability because Leon's traded in his knife for cool ass hatchet.
Shit don't break. Cool. Okay.
Still does lots of parries and stuff like that. And then you unlock a mode called Insanity. And I started to play Insanity after beating the game on a speed run. So I did a speed run on easy where I did no crafting, no healing items, and under 4 hours. I beat the game in 3 hours. And that only allows you to get enough points to buy all the sub weapons and infinite ammo. So like, fucking killer, awesome, great. Started Insanity, died immediately with infinite ammo as
with
Leon.
your new game plus stuff.
Yes, instantly.
Oh wow!
Like the second enemy in the game, and the loading screen tip says, hey, Insanity mode's pretty crazy. You might want to replay the game on a different difficulty and unlock some of the bonus weapons to beat it.
It's balanced against the craziest with the strongest weapons in the game.
Yeah, no, it is intentional to like, no, you want to come in with this with infinite ammo and every fucking sub weapon and infinite durability hatchet.
Wow. Okay.
Because it's fucking crazy. It's fucking nuts.
Sick.
So I'm going through it on my own time, and I'm gonna get all the files, and I'm gonna get all the collectibles, and then I'm gonna hit an insane run, and I fully expect it to be fucking ridiculous.
Did it answer every question remaining?
No, fuck no.
Okay.
Oh no, fuck that.
It's not one of those. Okay.
So because it has its own questions.
Okay.
So what it does is it answers questions again, which is if you like, there are parts of that game that you're like, I know what happened, and the game's like, no, you didn't. Actually, this is what happened. That earlier thing, lie. That was a lie.
Okay.
And it opens up a couple questions that aren't fully 100% answered. That I bet you me and Susie and Gene have figured out, but like it's never stated in the game.
Okay.
Like there's a very mysterious character in the game that has absolutely no details about them at all. But I could ballpark it.
Okay. Yeah, there's like I mean, when we talk about like another Capcom franchise, DMC, like there's stuff where you're like, oh, if you're following this, you know the deal off camera, but it's making it more overt on camera.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Game ends with a stinger for future shenanigans.
Yep.
Probably DLC. It also ends once you beat the game. You earn a report called "The Truth About the Raccoon City Incident," which is a 60-page document.
Jesus Christ, that's a fucking heavy title.
Which is more than anything proof that this is the end of the Umbrella arc of Resident Evil, because Grace just goes, okay, here's my official report. Here's the timeline of events. Here's who was involved. Here's who did what, etc.
Okay. In the scrolling down that fucking MGS timeline was so satisfying back in the day. So that must feel pretty good.
And basically it ends with there being like two big questions. One of which is, hey, whatever happened to that mind transfer shit from Revelations 2 where the villain totally got away and transplanted their brain into a little girl? That doesn't come out even once in this game. And yes, that is real. Don't make that fucking face. Don't make that fucking face.
No, I'm going like, did I already hear about this 6 years ago?
you probably. But yes, one of the villains totally got away with it and transferred their mind into a little girl.
Yeah. Okay.
And that has not come up since. So they're still out there.
Okay.
And then the second,
if I don't actually play it for myself, guys, it's not going to lock in. Yeah. Why would it?
Come on. The second one is, what is the nature of the new problem going forward?
Yes.
Who could, etc.
Yeah.
Okay. It provides a lot of emotional closure for like Leon and characters that didn't deserve it in the old series.
Okay.
It provides a fairly significant amount of closure for characters that did not deserve it in the old series, including one which is fake. So there are people who are going to play RE9 and have an emotional reaction to one of the characters within without the knowledge that that emotional manipulation is actually in-universe fake. Because RE9 presents it as real, but I know for a fact that it's fake.
Wait, what?
There is a face turn in this game that is presented as sincere. Right?
Okay. But previous knowledge.
But it's not.
Okay.
But it's not. Okay. And I know for a fact that it's not. I could send you documents describing that it is not.
And this was planted in earlier games.
Yes.
Gotcha. Okay.
Which is really funny. And it's the type of thing of like regular person playing the game. Oh, that's a cool story bit. RE fanatic playing the game. That's fucking hilarious that they're trying to trick me.
Okay.
Like I don't know better, but I do know better. Yeah, game's great. I'll also like RE2 has a fucking god awful scripted section dead ass in the center of the game that is going to be the worst thing to watch ever in speedruns.
Oh,
like there's like a 15-minute sequence that's like very cinematic that you just can't make it go any fucking faster.
Okay.
And it sucks. And boy, it sucks on replay too. But yeah, RE9 is a great game. It is a great Resident Evil game. It is the best one in a while. I put it right up there with RE2 and RE2 Remake and RE4 and RE4 Remake. It's one of the really, really great ones. And to answer your earlier question about how it feels like it kind of started with RE2, which is the sequel, even though the mansion incident is where it really started. In universe contextualization, the city becoming so nightmarishly infected that it has to be missile attacked to clean it up is a bigger deal story wise than this one mansion got gooed up by zombies and there was a secret conspiracy, right? Like the Spencer Estate RE1 is really just part one of the Raccoon City like story.
Yeah, no, hey, look, Geki is not in Street Fighter 6. Like,
yeah,
we know what it means to.
Yeah, Street Fighter starts at 2.
Of course, duh.
Yeah.
Yes, but I do like when it's such a story heavy sort of moment. I kind of wonder. I'm like, is there a feeling of like I know in my heart that it begins with this
the
incident.
Second reason is because the timeline we're working on is the assumed the RE9 exists on the assumption that players played RE2 remake, RE3 remake, RE4 remake 9.
Yeah, okay. All right.
Raccoon City, Leon in Raccoon City.
If I was guessing, if I was guessing from the outside without seeing the what the game was about before it was announced, I would have thought that this would have been like the end of a first person trilogy, of games.
Yeah, I can see that.
But instead, it's just the full thing. You're saying the whole franchise up to this point.
So there's somebody in the chat that says, so RE0 doesn't exist. Characters from RE0 are mentioned in Resident Evil 9's documents. And there is a send up to a Resident Evil 0 boss fight. There is a boss fight in this game that is just like, hey, remember this cool boss fight from RE0? We're going to just redo it.
Are there
just gonna fucking just completely redo it?
Are there references to Caliban Cove?
No, because that was written by S.D. Perry and is non-official. There are references to fucking Umbrella Corps and Operation Raccoon City.
Okay, games.
So they go fucking deep on this crap.
Yeah, all right. I mean, if it's a released video game, I'm going to assume so, but a book is fucking...
the CG movies are not explicitly referenced in any way other than the fact that there are sequences from this game that are highly reminiscent of some of those CG movies. Like, thematically. Also, I haven't watched all of them, but I think the last one that came out has Leon and Chris in it. Should be noted that the zombies in that movie can be cured, but Leon and Chris just mow down like hundreds of them like they're nothing. Like, who gives a fuck because they're in our way.
Wait, what does cured mean?
I mean, fully returned to humanity.
Not like normal person, even if they're dead.
Go back to being normal people. Yeah.
What? Wait. But then.
Yeah. They're in my way, Leon. I gotta do John Wick stuff.
That's horrifying cursed knowledge that should never exist.
It's really interesting because if you
that is franchise annihilating knowledge.
99% of them are far gone, are like cooked the instant that they get infected, right?
Yeah. Minus the like Plagueis type shit and so on.
One of the things that stands out to me, I'm thinking about Leon, and as I often do. Everybody's crazy for Leon. Leon is like the most popular fucking character that I think Capcom might have ever fucking made.
Well, duh.
Everybody loves him.
Yeah, look at him.
They want to kiss on him. They want to be his pal.
Leon Sex Kennedy.
You look at him in Resident Evil 9, and he's like damn near 50 years old. I think he's 51 years old. He's hot as shit. He's super big. He's a John Wick fucking roundhouse kicking 80s fucking character, one-liner, witty dude with pathos and all this shit. And like, he has been grandfathered into that character spot. Like, he gets to do that because he's had games since like 98.
Mm-hmm.
But like, if you made like the same guy that's just new Leon Kennedy, he'd be cringe as fuck.
Sure. Yes. It's all grandfathered in, and yes, on his
right.
existing.
Like the fact that like, yeah, no,
Mm-hmm.
we've seen it.
Mm-hmm.
We've been seeing it for decades. We saw how he went from sweet little cinnamon bun man in RE2 and RE2 remake to this fucking old wisecracking hot uncle.
You can't, like, actual people in their 50s can't pull off Trunks' hair. What are we fucking talking about? That's insanity. You're not allowed. You're not allowed to do Trunks' hair in your 50s. Only Leon can do it.
And on the flip side, Grace is fantastic. I don't know. Hold on, Grace Ashcroft, voice actor. I don't know who her actor is. Angela Sant'Albano. She's great.
Okay.
She has an incredible performance. She does I am terrified for my fucking life like almost nobody else I've ever heard voice acting. Like the fear, not stutter, but stammer. You know that like I'm gonna fucking choke and die any second during my dialogue. She's really good. I agree with that Asna. She might be too good for Resident Evil's voice acting.
Okay.
Like this is a genuinely great performance for what is at the end of the day this total hack shit that I'm crazy about.
Okay. It's interesting how on paper, even the description of how the game splits up here, it's like, I don't know if it's too far to say it, but like what RE4's Ashley sections like probably could have or should have been, maybe like something where you could play and do a bit more or something a little more engaging.
This has been a long-standing thing going back to RE1. So like switching between characters has always been a thing. Even in RE1 in 96, when Chris gets poisoned in the snake boss fight, you switch to Rebecca, who kind of sucks. And she goes and makes the anti-venom, and that's a really short section. Same thing if Chris gets grabbed by the plant, you switch to Rebecca and she makes V-Jolt. And then in RE2, you could play as little girl Sherry, who is totally helpless. Right, or badass Ada, who's actually a better, stronger character than Leon or Claire. Like she shoots her handgun faster. And so Carlos in 3, and then in Code Veronica, you switch between Claire and Chris, and then in 4, you switch between Leon and Ashley. Right, like it's been a constant thing of like switching from your capable, strong character to your less capable character.
You can't do roundhouse kicks. But
now we have the formula for first-person Resident Evil and third-person Resident Evil, and now they exist within the same game. It's basically half of Resident Evil 2 Remake and half of RE4.
Right, right.
Like, and it works really, really, really well.
Well, the contrast between Roundhouse Kick Mercenary and like barely surviving gameplay is strong enough that you can put the character who's struggling in that role, you know?
Yeah, so like there's a sequence in the game where Grace has to sneak and bottle throw and, you know, just really fucking like finesse her way through a sequence. And then it cuts to Leon with his arsenal and he kills 3 times as enemies as Grace even saw in her section.
Right. Yeah.
Just
That's a the switch between to a depowered character as well is super difficult because like I feel like I can think of more examples of that failing than not, you know, where you take the fun away. I've obviously talked recently about the Onimusha situation, but like I'm also thinking of even like Zero Suit Samus and stuff like that, you know, like there's times where you're like the hindrance should not be less fun. It should just be a different game loop, a different thing, a different way you have to overcome, you know? Stealthing and sneaking can be fine in and of its own, but what else can you do? What else is going on with it?
So Dust Golem has revealed. Dust Golem is the guy who always knows everything about Resident Evil way before it comes out. For like going on 20 years now. I don't know where the fuck they are or how old they are. But anyway, Dust Golem says Code Veronica is the next one. And Code Veronica is interesting because it sucks. So one of the questions that people ask is like, when are they going to remake bad games instead of all these good ones? You remember that email? Well, guess what? Code Veronica kind of sucks, and they're going to do it. And in that game, you play as Claire and you play as Chris Redfield, and Chris Redfield will be probably retrofit into his fucking freak creatine monster form that he was from 5 and 8. Where he's just the Leon sections in third person where he's just punching motherfuckers. And Claire is probably going to play more like a standard survival horror. I significantly expect that old style horror in maybe first person and let's do some roundhouse kicks and uppercuts in third person is going to be the formula for this series for a while.
Survival horror fans are eating good these days.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good. Also, I will say there are some moments in this game that are really confusing because sometimes they can't keep the voice actors the same between games.
Oh.
Like really fucking confusing.
So there are moments that are meant to be like tense things where you're like, who the fuck is talking?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And there's other moments where voice actors have actually kept very consistent. But because other voice actors haven't been kept consistent, you're like, who the fuck is that? Really, who the fuck I think it is? I don't know. Yeah. And last but not least, Resident Evil 9 has been the focus of something called the final puzzle, which is a achievement in the game just labeled the final puzzle, which has an obtuse clue that says, let the sweet pear hear the voice, and no other details at all that people have been I'm going to say schizo posting about for a solid week, doing all sorts of zany nonsense. And what if I spin around in 3 times and recite the national anthem and into my microphone, kind of like insanity.
Gaster shit. Gaster posting. Yeah.
And depending on who you ask, this is either a relief or a massive bummer. 2 things happened. Some gentleman who was streaming the game went to go take a shit on stream and left the game running for like 20 minutes and came back only to discover that letting the game run in a certain room for like 20 minutes is the first part of the puzzle.
Was there some sort of confirmation of that?
Yes.
Okay.
And after that, the full solution was data mined out.
I see. Okay.
And I have looked at this solution. This is fucking stupid. like the leaps of logic and steps required
completely
to solve this puzzle are for it's to cause like schizophrenic outbreaks in the Resident Evil population. It's
impossible to solve on your own. However, community altogether did, because this is the world we live in now.
It would never be able to be solved on its own.
Yeah. And this is a discussion, right? We are beyond the level of games that you play in a cabin in the woods. You are now at Braid Stars, where it's like this is a community effort, and we made it this way because that's absurd. And
it was intended to be a community effort, but like this if this had not been data mined and accidentally found, I would have put this on like this will never be discovered. It is like any secret that requires you, hey, stand in this place for this 15 minutes.
Yeah.
With no external feedback that's what you should do is fucking absurd. And it's solved now. And I'm gonna do it on my playthrough because fine, fuck it. On the Insanity playthrough.
Got to get your platinum.
So yeah, RE9 very good. I fully expect 2 pieces of DLC. I expect a little bonus DLC coming in the next year that's like another scenario, and I expect a mercenaries mode to be added for Leon and Grace. There are a lot of characters in this game that could have a really good time in a mercenaries mode.
Okay.
In particular, I would like a dual mercenaries mode where you play as one and then switch to the other. That's what I would like.
The concept of end of Act 1 is kind of crazy.
End of Act 1, dude. It's really nuts.
Yeah.
It's actually super nuts. Also, apparently Dusk Golem confirmed today that RE1 is getting another remake. That is not shocking at all.
I mean, how long has it been? Are we further away from remake than we are from RE? Our remake was from RE1.
Okay, you want your mind blown at dev times. So Resident Evil 1 came out in 1996.
Okay.
Right? Resident Evil Remake came out in fucking
2000.
what was it, like 2002? 2002.
Oh wow, yeah, okay. yeah, all right, yeah. And for years you had been saying remake is a perfect RE1 remake, therefore you don't need to.
Oh, it's the gold standard that will never ever be topped. There is no game that was better changed, modernized, and improved than Resident Evil 1 to Resident Evil Remake. Now, Resident Evil 1 is an awesome game if you can put your brain back into its 1996, and there's been nothing like this ever.
Yes. However, you still RE1 remake is like a perfect game. It's absolutely unbelievably immaculate. But there hits a certain time where, okay, it still would be on the table simply because of time, not because of flaws or corrections necessary.
Yeah, so they said a long time ago when they were doing Resident Evil 2 remake, when they did it in the third person, like, we could do an RE1 remake. It would be different enough because of this camera. And I interpreted that as that will eventually happen. And what will happen with the RE1 remake is that there will be a fucking 2 lines of new dialogue there from a certain special character that actually has to do with the Resident Evil 10 plot.
Right. Worst case scenario, I think I can imagine would be like a remake that's worse than remake, you know. But if you do anything to set up phase 2,
phase 2 has been set up.
Yeah.
There's a goal. There's a shot in the stands. There's even a new name of like, this is the name of a problem going forward. Time to watch
WandaVision and Captain America TV shows, you know, and Quantumania.
So what that will be genuinely is they're going, so if you want to use the Marvel analogy, hey, they're going to re-release, we've recut Bucky in the, what was it, Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
And there's a scene at the end of it now that them hanging out talking about Doctor Doom.
Sure. Yeah. You know.
Right. Because that's what's going to happen with Code Veronica. Code Veronica is like a weird side bullshit that features a bunch of characters that never came back, and all you got to do is just so Resident Evil has this long history of, you play Resident Evil 5, right? And you find a document, and the document's like, we set up a lab in this other country. Oh, I wonder what happened to it. And you're like, oh, that's going to be a later game. Right? It happens over and over and over. Right? And they will probably do that in the Code Veronica remake. They'll be like, we actually sent a sample of T Veronica to Africa.
Right.
And then you'll be like, oh no.
Right.
And now we get to engage in the really funny discussion for like 5-6 years of like, what the fuck are they going to do with Resident Evil 5, man? I don't fucking know. It's going to be crazy.
RE10, REX It's just Dino Crisis. we just
You know there is a Resident Evil game that is Dino Crisis? It's called Gun Survivor 3, Dino Crisis.
Let's go. Sure. Yep. Just swerve right into it. RE10? Yeah, it's a different franchise, actually. It already existed.
Would you believe me, Woolie? Would you believe me if there is a Resident Evil boss fight that is literally against a dinosaur?
No, of course
There's a T-Rex monster.
Sure, man. Giant alligators, like fucking whatever. Yeah, snakes. Yawn.
And it uses a Monster Hunter rig.
That's fun. That's fun. That's pretty cool.
Isn't that fun?
Nice. Okay.
That's like the worst fucking fight in the series. It's god awful.
All right.
But yeah, all right, that Resident Evil 9's pretty good.